Welcome to the VMS Management System, the Volunteer Management System, Galveston Bay Area User Training. My name is Jim Duran, and I will be leading this training session. Some of the goals for the training session is we're going to learn the basic information and definitions of the VMS. We're going to log into the VMS system. We're going to change some of the information in our user profile and change our temporary password. We're going to report some volunteer hours. We're going to look at the volunteer hours that we just reported, and then we're going to log out of the VMS system. And we're also going to let you know where you can go to get some help in case you have any problems. Some VMS definitions. The first one is the opportunities, and these are the service or advanced training events that you have been approved as members to report your hours. If an opportunity begins with an AT:, this is an advanced training opportunities. Every advanced training opportunity in the GBAC begins with the AT:. All other opportunities are volunteer service. You cannot report volunteer service with an advanced training opportunity or advanced training opportunity with a volunteer service opportunity. They will have to be re-entered. Survey is the input format that a user uses to enter his volunteer service hours and opportunity information. Logbook is the record of the volunteer hours that each member has entered into the VMS. The hours are presented in alphabetical order of the opportunities. Dashboard is the base page that a user will use to get into the VMS system, out of the VMS system, and do whatever work he or she needs to do in the VMS, recording hours and looking at hours. Some important things to remember is all volunteer service and advanced training hours must be recorded within 45 days of the day that you did the event. If you run into problems or have some questions, please use the GBAC administrators, and there'll be a listing of these later on down in this presentation. Always log out of the VMS system using the dashboard page. Do not use the X in the upper right hand corner. Sometimes that hangs up your account. We have a lot of information about the VMS videos and who to contact on the GBAC website page. We also have the list of all the chapter opportunities that you will need to report your hours. Remember, you must be approved for the opportunities by a GBAC administrator for you to record hours. These are the VMS opportunities. The first column has all the advanced training, and you can see that each opportunity begins with an AT:. The next two columns are volunteer service opportunities. Now this list will change as new opportunities become available due to the different types of work that we keep doing in the chapter. This is the name and the point of contact for the VMS team. If you have problems or questions on the VMS system, please contact one of these individuals and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions. The standard way to enter the VMS system is with your user ID. The user ID is a unique account that has been created for you by the system administrators. All GBAC users have a user ID beginning with the GBAC dash. Then we generally use your last name and the first letter of your first name. It is uniquely created for you. The GBAC ensures that you are a member of this chapter and that you're not going to be able to log in under some other chapter. Password is an 8-character Minimum length consisting of lower uppercase letters, numbers, and some special characters. The password is case sensitive. The user ID is not. You will have been given a temporary password if you're a new user. For example, people in the new training class. Please use that when you log in for the first time. Within our chapter, we greatly encourage that you log into the VMS through our chapter GBAC website. The address is located right here on this page. Please keep it handy or add it to your favorites on your computer so that the next time you get into the system, you can link directly into it. And speaking of logging into the system, let's go ahead and log in. So arriving at the GBAC website page, you will see that there is an entry here for reporting your hours. Selecting reporting your hours will take you to the page where you not only report your hours, but you can also get the listing of the current chapter opportunities. You can request a new opportunity if you find a new work item. It has the names and contacts for the VMS team. It has an entry into the state VMS system. We sort of discourage you from using this because you can probably get in over your head if you're not too careful. There is the VMS training video, which you're looking at now, and some additional information that is available on the system. So coming back up, let's go into the VMS system and we're going to report our hours. Selecting report your hours brings you to the base page. We're going to log in into one of our training accounts, and it's GBAC TRAIN, our test train account, and we're going to put in a temporary password. This is case sensitive, remember. Once the system accepts it, it will take you to what we call the dashboard page, and from this page you will be able to perform all the activities with the VMS. You will be able to look at your user profile, and you will be able to change your password for selecting this. You will also be able to report your hours, look at the hours that you've put into the system, and you will be logging out. Again, I remember, when you log out, please use this entry here and not the X in the upper right hand corner. You will also see a summary of volunteer hours. These hours are not Master Naturalist hours. They belong to Texas Parks and Wildlife. So if you ever report some hours and you see some numbers here, there is a problem, please contact the system administrators. Let's go over here and start entering some of the data that we need in our user profile and also change our password. Selecting View My Profile. Sometimes the system is alone. The first thing that will come up is a background check. Now, at your own reading convenience, you can go ahead and read these. We strongly recommend that you put yes to accepting the terms, because it will trigger a background check for you, especially if you're working with people that are 17 years old or less. You need to put in your driver's license number and the state, Texas for me, and the legal name, and this is our test training account, so it's going to be TEST, test train, and the date that you signed the agreement, which in this case would be March the 4th of 2016. The next question that comes up is a media waiver. I always agree to that. That means they can use your image. If you don't, read it carefully and select I agree or I don't agree. Alternate work waiver. Again, I always agree to that. And so you will see the information that you have entered. Now, this is the first page. Let's continue to the second page, and in the second page, this is where you change your password. Now, please do not change your user ID. There are several things that can happen, and so far I have not seen a single one that's good. So leave the user ID alone. You can change your password. And then you verify that you've changed it correctly. Remember, the password is case sensitive. There's some additional information that you can enter here, but for the time being, let's just go ahead and save this. We can save. So we have saved the information in my profile and have changed the password. So now what we do is we go back to the volunteer dashboard. System is very slow today for some reason. There must be a lot of activity going on. So we've gone ahead and viewed our profile and changed the temporary password. What we're going to do now is report some service. Select and report my service. It will come up with the report service base page here, and it is waiting for you to select an opportunity. Now remember, the opportunities or approved by the system administrators for you to use. And so if it begins with an AT colon at advanced training, all the other ones are volunteer service. So let's start with an advanced training opportunity that happens quite a bit, and that is attending the chapter meeting. So selecting the chapter meeting special topics, it brings up the survey for that particular opportunity. So what kind of hours are we reporting? AT colon means that it's advanced training. Now, you can enter volunteer service hours under the AT opportunity, but we'll have to request that you redo that because that is a no-no in the VMS system. The date at which you attended the chapter meeting, well, let's say this was the one in March. In February, let's say February the 4th, which was the Thursday, a regular chapter meeting. How many hours was the training? The hour was, it was a 1-hour training session. What did you think of the training? Again, like, dislike, you don't care about it. Describe the training, and what we'll do is AT at the chapter meeting. Boy, I'm making a lot of little minor errors here. Yeah. Let's just say that's a meeting there and keep going. And then it's asked you, is it okay? We select okay. And that opportunity has been entered into the system. The system gets back to the report service and it asks you if you want to make another entry. If you do, then select make another entry. If you don't, go back to the volunteer dashboard. So let's make another entry, and we'll select another entry. Now, the system will keep the previous opportunity displayed. Please remember, if you're going to enter a different opportunity, to change the opportunity that's being displayed here. Well, let's say we had a beach and bay day at Galveston Island State Park. So we select this. This is, again, a volunteer service opportunity. We'll call it volunteer service. And let's say the date for this was March the 4th. How many hours did you volunteer? For volunteer service, you include your travel and the amount that you worked to the nearest quarter hour. So if you worked 3 hours and it took you half an hour to get there, we can enter 3.5 hours. 3.5, there we go. Describe the service or training. Let's say we led a beach walk. And that tells you and tells anybody else what you actually did. Now, the rest information there is for your own purposes. Some people used to track their miles for tax purposes. I do not, but if you do, you can enter your number there. Now, there's some questions here regarding the activity. Did you have impact data to add to the opportunity? If you are the lead for that event, then you need to enter the impact data for that event. If you select yes, it will bring up the impact data. It will ask you information about the people that attended the training session or the bay walk, in this case, that you attended. For example, how many adults did you have? Let's say we had 5 adults. And how many youths? We say, let's say 15, and a youth is somebody 17 years or younger. And you don't have to be perfect on that, because a lot of times you just don't know. How many were male? Well, let's say 8 were male and 12 were female, and these numbers should match up. And then attendee grand total, that should be 20 for this opportunity. And then it'll ask you some ethnic data. Give it your best shot. If you are leading the thing, maybe somebody is helping you, you can get them to get the number. Sometimes it's a school group. You can ask the teacher to get you the number. And when all else fails, sometimes you might be able to take a group photo and be able to generate the data after the fact. Well, what was the ethnic background? Let's say there were 10 white, there were 5 black, 3 Hispanic, and let's say 2 Asian people. And we select OK when we're finished with that. Okay? So now all that data has been recorded into the VMS. Now, you're probably wondering why we need impact data. The impact data is required by Texas AgriLife to ensure that we are helping people across the spectrum. Everybody is included in the things that we do. It is mandatory for the report that our advisor submits to her or his boss. So, we've entered 2 items, one an advanced training item, one a volunteer service item. It again gets to the report your service, or you want to make another entry. Let's say we've entered everything we wanted to do, so we go back to the volunteer dashboard. Returning to the volunteer dashboard, we're going to look at the events that we just finished recording. Select View Your Logbook, and you will see that there are 2 things that are displayed here. Now, the information in your logbook is presented in alphabetical order for your opportunity that you reported. AT, Beach and Bay Day. Okay? We entered 2 things, and they're shown here. Now, you can scroll to the right to get some additional information of the data that you entered. For today's session, it's very simple that you can see both opportunities are entered. After you enter the data for quite a bit, sometimes you may want to narrow it. The system uses a start date and an end date to display the data. The end date is always the date at which the last entry was made. The start date is a year before that. If you want to change it, for example, you were interested only in the hours of 2016, you can select January 1st, 2016, and then select Go, and it will present the information that you earned in the year 2016, which in this case, as this video was made this year, it will display the 2 opportunities. Okay, now you will see that each one of the opportunities has a box to the left of it. The box indicates that the system administrator for the chapter has not approved this event. Once the event is approved, you can't do anything to it as a user. Only a system administrator can. If you entered the data, for example, let's say we entered the Beach and Bay Day, and instead of 3.5 hours, it should have been 4.5 hours. It was really 4 hours of work and half an hour travel. You can select the opportunity, and then you can edit the entry that you have made. Remember, you can only do that if the event has not been approved. What the system will do, it will redisplay your survey. And if you want to change something, let's go over here and put it at 4.5 hours, which it should have been. And we can go ahead, change any field in this area that you want to change. And when you're happy, you click OK, and it will go back to viewing the hours that you have. And you can see now that the number of master naturalists or volunteer service hours that you have has been increased from 3.5 to 4.5. If you're happy with that, then you just continue scrolling down. If you ever get into an area that you want to delete a record, you can select it and delete it. Well, let's not do that this time. As you scroll down, there's two very important fields. One is TMN hours, and these are the total number of hours that you have recorded for the range that you entered in the upper right-hand corner. And AT hours are the total number of advanced training hours, again within the range of the date that you have selected. If you're happy with everything, then go back to the dashboard, and you have, so far, you have entered your profile, you changed your temporary password, you reported some volunteer service hours, you looked at those hours, you found out that you had an error, you fixed the error, and now you're finished reporting your hours. So you are now ready to log out of the system. Again, remember, you log out of the system by this area. The system will return back to the login page, and you are finished with your session.